The Oklahoma City Thunder are not in the business of losing 2 games in a row. In fact, bouncing back after losses has been a theme of all season. I think Brandon Rabar on Twitter put it perfectly. OKC hasn't lost 2 straight home games all season. OKC hasn't lost 2 straight games this postseason. And OKC has only lost 2 straight games twice this season. They are one of the best teams in NBA history coming off of a loss. And the Oklahoma City Thunder showed you tonight when their back's against the wall, they can put it together. So, of course, I think today we got to talk about the 123-107 win against the Indiana Pacers in game 2. What went right for the Oklahoma City Thunder? Before we do that, though, as always, I need to hear from y'all, so join the discussion. Let me know what you guys thought about this great Game 2 win for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure you're hitting that like and hit the subscribe button, because this is the point where I will tell you there's going to be a couple days now in between Games 2 and 3. So there's going to be a lot of time to consume more NBA content. So by hitting that like and hitting the subscribe button, you're not going to be missing any of it. It's completely free to you, and it helps a small channel out grow and continue to reach the masses. But SGA and the Oklahoma City Thunder win game 2 over the Indiana Pacers 123-107. And to say that this was a must win, that this was going to be a series defining game, I think is an understatement. Because if you're the Oklahoma City Thunder, yeah, you could probably go to Indiana. You can win game 3. But trying to win 2 in a row in Indiana after you just got swept on your own home court in the first 2 games, that would be increasingly hard. So more than likely at that point, you would have seen the Oklahoma City Thunder come back to Oklahoma City down 3-1. You probably win game 5, but you probably go back and lose game 6. It's just, this is one of those tasks that's incredibly hard. You don't want to put yourselves in that position. And every single time this postseason that Oklahoma City has had their backs against the wall and has been in a position where the series could drastically take the turn for the worst, they have found a way to crawl back in those games, crawl back in those series, and then ultimately get their feet back on the right track. Now, if you remember in the first game, some of the things that we talked about for Oklahoma City and why they lost that game was the fact that they didn't take advantage of points off turnovers. You saw SGA just forcing a lot of shots, like 25 shots in that game. It just felt like SGA was taking away from some of the other guys, helping other guys get in rhythm. Remember, I talked about how when you come off of a longer layoff, although, yes, you're not tired, you can certainly be out of rhythm. And that's kind of where sometimes you see the guys that have just played a game 7 and they're coming over to game 1. It translates. Although they're tired, they might not have their legs under them. They're still able to hit shots because they just came and they did it. Versus if you've been off for a week, it's just not there. It takes a little bit of time to put it together. And so in the game 1, you really just felt like SGA was forcing the measure, and they still almost won. But it ended up allowing other guys like J-Dub and Chet and Wiggins and Caruso and all those other guys to really not to be in sync and let the ball move as well as it should have been. And today I felt like we got a lot better of a Shai this game than last game, which is crazy to say that because SGA obviously last game scored 38 points. Today SGA only scores 34, but SGA gets 8 assists. So he got his teammates involved. And then on the defensive side of the ball, like you saw a very focused Shai on the defensive side of the ball with 4 steals, 1 block, only 2 turnovers, 11 of 12 from the free throw line. Still 1 of 4 from 3. And when you look at what SGA can improve on this offseason, you got to look at that 3 ball, because if he can become a consistent shooter from there, the league just better continue to watch out. But when you saw SGA getting the teammates involved, obviously you saw a lot better ball movement in this game. Chet Holmgren comes out there, 15 points, 1 block, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. Still not the best defensive game, in my opinion, from Chet. I still think we're due for a really efficient, good defensive game from Chet. and a really good offensive game from J-Dub, which again is funny to say because J-Dub last game, I think it was like scored 17 points. Tonight he scored 19, but was 5 of 14 from the field, 1 of 5 from 3. So again, you haven't had a super efficient game from J-Dub. And so SGA tonight, although his supporting cast wasn't super efficient and the best, he still got production out of them. Alex Caruso stepped up in a mighty way. 6 of 11 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, 20 points. Alex Caruso outscored the next highest scorer for the Indiana Pacers at 17 points. He outscored. He would have been the leading scorer on the Indiana Pacers. Alex Caruso. And then you go down the list, and you see the guy that you saw here on the thumbnail, Aaron Wiggins, the guy that saves basketball. 18 points tonight, 6 of 11, 5 of 8 from 3. The supporting cast around Shai tonight is what helped Oklahoma City get to where they were. You saw Kenrich Williams come in for 8 minutes, and these 8 minutes are going to be forgotten about by a lot of people, but these were probably some of the most valuable minutes in the game. Kenrich Williams comes in and doesn't go score a ton of points. In fact, misses his only shot from the field. But he goes out there and grabs you 4 rebounds, 2 on the offensive side of the ball. He goes out there and gets you a block. He goes out there and gets 2 assists and ends up with a plus 15 by the end of the game. Isaiah Hartenstein. Again, we got to see some of that double big lineup. 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, only 3 points. But in that double big lineup, immediately when you put it out there, it allowed Chet to become a little bit more free on the defensive side of the ball. And you saw Chet immediately get that block, which is exactly why Indiana isn't going to allow Oklahoma City to play the double big lineup, because Indiana doesn't match up well with it. But the way Indiana wants to play ball, Oklahoma City is just able to play better. They're able to play faster. They're able to go deeper, and they just have better talent across the board. Now, if you look at this game and you look at, hey, like, where did it all go wrong for Indiana? I mean, again, I think you kind of saw what you saw last game where, a good chunk of the guys that played well last game, played pretty decent again. Like, they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys over 10 points in this game. But really where it went wrong was Tyrese Halliburton was a non-factor in the first half of this game. And it wasn't until, later in the second half that you saw Tyrese Halliburton actually come out and hit some shots. And this is definitely an area where Tyrese Halliburton needs to probably improve his game. Tyrese Halliburton, also probably looking to be more of a pass-first point guard, needs to be able to step up in these moments. Like, if you're going to be the star of your team, you've got to be able to go out there and score the basketball, at least get your team 20 to 22 points in this game, where Tyrese Halliburton only got 17. He's got to show up earlier in the games for the Indiana Pacers to have a shot. But for the Oklahoma City Thunder, you did what you needed to. You took care of business, right? Everybody sat here after the game 1 loss and said, Oklahoma City's going to come out and blow Indiana out. And I seriously sat back and thought to myself, I really don't like this, because we all sat here and said there's no chance Indiana is going to win this NBA Finals. And then they come out and they punch Oklahoma City in the mouth in game 1. And although people maybe were starting to walk some of that back a little bit, they were still pretty confident. And the confidence kind of scared me a little bit. But it didn't feel like Oklahoma City let the outside noise get to them. They came in, they took care of their business. And at the end of the day, after I watched the game, it did not look like Shai or J-Dub or Chet or Wiggins or Wallace or Caruso or any of them were satisfied with this game 2 win. They still looked pissed off, and they looked like they were ready to go back to battle in game 3. I think Oklahoma City might just steal that one in Indiana. So, of course, I want to hear from y'all. We're going to dive more into this series over the next couple of days because we got time with this layoff between games 2 and games 3. But jump in the comments below and let me know what you guys think about the Oklahoma City Thunder's 123-107 win. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and hit that subscribe button.